Here are reasons why HSPs must be protected by all means. 1 in every 20 people is considered to be a highly sensitive person HSP. This means that either yourself may be sensitive or someone you know is. 42% of the population is not highly sensitive, meaning that most things don't bother them the way they will in HSP. Everyone else falls somewhere in between, with the odd few being completely unemotional about anything. By the way, 20% of the entire animal kingdom is highly sensitive as well, if that makes you feel any better. Who are HSPs and what are they like? They are the thinkers, the cautious ones, the conservative people, the ones that say, hey, wait a minute. Let's think this through before doing something rash. Every society needs highly sensitive people, just as we need the warriors, the leaders who are ready to take the risks. However, they're the ones that help to temper the not-so-sensitive types. The ones who can be bold, rash and impulsive and may have not thought things through to the consequences of their actions. Highly sensitive people are most often the people found in the roles of advisors, counselors and advocates for restraint. Unfortunately, in our society, they have also been labeled as somewhat defective, according to the way non-HSPs see them. They are considered too sensitive, too cautious, too shy, too timid, too introverted and too fearful. What needs to be realized is that these are not problems that need to be corrected and fixed with sensitive people. It's the labels that are attached to them that cause the problems. Many non-sensitive people are also shy, timid, introverted and fearful, while there are many highly sensitive people who are outgoing, super friendly, extroverted, and risk-takers. HSPs just tend to think things through first and weigh all the factors that their senses pick up on before forging ahead. So, what are some of the traits and characteristics of a highly sensitive person? Let's look at some of the facts and the mythical labels that have been attached to this special group. 1. Shyness. You'll probably find a larger portion of shy people in the HSP group. That does not mean that everyone is shy. That's a myth. A lot of non-sensitive people are also shy. Sometimes, what's mistaken as shyness is actually a sizing up of the situation and the people that they have just met. They are cautious. If their senses are saying something isn't right about the person, they won't be so open to them. First impression is everything to an HSP. It's not just the way the person is dressed, but their whole demeanor, aura, attitude and other little subtleties that they absorb with all of their senses. They process the thoughts, feelings and sensations that they receive in each new situation. This may make some of them appear shy, when they are not. 2. Introverted. Another myth, you'll find that many HSPs can be extroverted, outgoing and fun-loving. You'll also find many non-sensitive people as being introverted. Don't mistake deep thinking and inner reflection as introversion. HSPs do require much more alone time. This is because their nervous systems can go into overload in a situation that a non-sensitive person would find somewhat stimulating. If they become frazzled and overstimulated, they need to find a quiet spot as soon as possible to settle back down. This is why many HSPs tend to stay at home more often than not, rather than go out to party. It's not that they don't want to, they just know their systems can't handle the overload for too long a time. If they can't get away, they will pull into themselves, as a sort of protective shield, to try to reduce the noise, sights, sounds and smells that are bombarding them in order to calm down. 3. Fearfulness. Unless you're completely unemotional and have a lack of conscious consideration toward others, who can say that they've never been fearful at times? This is not an exclusive trait of sensitive people. New experiences often cause butterflies, fearful thoughts and inner turmoil in most people. HSPs just tend to feel those emotions more deeply. 4. Timidness. Caution, careful evaluation of the situation, needing to see the entire picture, and the possible resulting consequences of their actions is just in their nature. If everyone heedlessly rushed into everything, we'd have even more chaos in our world than we do now. 5. Too sensitive. Yes, this is their major trait. They assimilate everything around them at once. Lights, noises, smells, energy vibrations, they all get absorbed, processed and evaluated. Unfortunately, when there's too much activity and noise around them, they can't handle it for a great length of time. For example, what may be a low to moderate level of music for a non-sensitive person could sound like the level of a rock concert to an HSP. Emotionally, they are affected by much of the disharmony in the world. They feel another person's heartache, they are aware of low levels of anger or resentment in a room, they empathize with other people's problems, and feel great sorrow over horrific tragedies. What does all these even mean? A highly sensitive person will pick up on subtleties in the surroundings that many non-sensitive people can't see or feel. This can give them some great advantages. It can save them in many situations where there's trouble brewing. Their abilities can keep them from making disastrous business or personal decisions, because HSPs follow their instincts, and because of the deep sense of the environment around them, they are more often than not the people that make others aware of potential environmental problems that unscrupulous companies ignore for their own benefits. HSPs are often the ones that push for reforms and changes in government law for the better good of everyone. As with anything, it's good to know that you're not alone, that there are others out there that have to deal with the same types of situations and labels as you do. True, it doesn't hurt any less, but you know there are similar types that you can seek out and talk to and they'll understand. Yes, they do tend to exhibit more of the earlier mentioned traits and characterize ITCs than non-sensitive people do, but they are not exclusive owners of them either. Sometimes, it's a misinterpretation of what's really going on in the mind of an HSP by non-HSPs. Only another highly sensitive person could really understand. The good news is that highly sensitive people have been around for as long as man has walked the earth, and they will always be here, working to make the world a more understanding, considerate and peaceful haven for everyone.